Good morning. There has indeed been much debate over the budget and the budget process, and I have therefore deemed it necessary to clarify some of the issues that have been raised surrounding the finalization of this year's budget. As I do so, let me reiterate three things. The first is that Treasury, and myself included, are indeed totally committed to the implementation of the new Constitution. Secondly, the Treasury is equally committed to transparency in public financial management. Third, that the Treasury also, as a statutory custodian of the macroeconomic environment of this nation, is duty-bound to exercise utmost care and diligence in the management of our economy. It is indeed the Treasury's considered view that both the letter and the spirit of the new Constitution are equally important. It is indeed instructive to note that Chapter 221 of the new Constitution was indeed one of the proposals of the Treasury to the Committee of Experts. And I want to repeat that again. That Chapter 221 of the new Constitution was one of the proposals of the Treasury to the COE. This was made in the spirit of ensuring that all public and indeed parliamentary participation into the budget-making process would be exhausted before the beginning of the new financial year, so as to ensure predictability and efficiency of government operations from the beginning of each financial year. It is also important that the public understands the process of coming up with a national budget. And indeed, I'd like to highlight some of the critical steps that go into making our national budget. The first step is the review of the strategic plans and ministerial public expenditure. And this is done by ministries ordinarily under the old Constitution between July and August. Next, we have the launch of the sector working groups, and this is done in the month of September. 3, the finalization of the budget outlook paper and issuing of sector ceilings, which is done in the month of October. Ministerial ceilings, this is done by the respective sector working groups in November and December, and the Ministry of Finance then consolidates and communicates the respective ceilings to ministries. We then have the allocation to programs and projects, and this is done by the respective ministries immediately after receiving their ministerial ceilings. We then have public sector hearings and finalization of sector budgets proposals, and this is normally done between November and December. The public hearings are there to allow for public participation. Sector budget proposals include feedback from the public. We then have the preparation of itemized budgets, and this is done in the month of March. The preparation of the budget policy statement, this is prepared by the Treasury and submitted to Parliament as by law by the 21st of March. We then have feedback that comes on the budget policy statement by Parliament. This budget policy statement was debated by Parliament and concluded on the 3rd of May 2011. I've highlighted this to show that the budget making process, as outlined above, usually takes a period of 10 to 11 months. Let us also remember that the budget cycle for the upcoming financial year under the old Constitution and the promulgation of the new Constitution have basically met each other halfway, given the length of time it takes to formulate the budget. It's there, and we believe that is the understanding, and that is the Treasury's understanding, that there are transitional clauses to help us transit from one system to the next. As we move forward again towards implementing our new and desired Constitution, I think we must all take cognizance of our need to transit seamlessly into this new order. In the spirit of the new constitution, we at the Treasury did indeed do our best to fast-track the budget process. And towards that end, we recorded the following achievements. First, 9 ministries prepared budget proposals based on 10 sectors. These proposals were shared with the public during the public sector hearings, which were held in January 12th and 14th, 2011 at the Kenyatta International Conference Center. Typically, under the old budget process, we would have held the sector hearings around mid-March. Second, we used the sector budget proposals to prepare the budget policy statement in accordance with the requirements of the Fiscal Management Act of 2009. The BPS has been discussed with the relevant departmental committees of Parliament, and this gave Parliament an opportunity to contribute towards the government's medium-term policy priorities and spending plans. The debate on the BPS, as I have said, was concluded on the 3rd of May 2011. And again, in the spirit of the new constitution, we held consultative meetings prior to the submission of the BPS with the judiciary and Parliament to agree on their overall funding levels after having taken due regard to the projected national resources. Third, with the submission of the BPS, we communicated to line ministries their ceilings to enable them to prepare and submit detailed budget proposals, and these were subsequently submitted to the Treasury by the 30th of March 2011, and the ministerial budget proposals were reviewed to ensure that they were in line with the national policy objectives. Finally, the estimates for both development and recurrent expenditure were prepared for submission to Parliament on the 31st of May 2011 in accordance with our understanding with the Parliamentary Budget Committee. These estimates, as you can see, are available to the public, and it is important to emphasize that the estimates are mere summaries of detailed expenditure of every single department of government, running into thousands of pages. It is important to note that to be able to deliver this, it would not be possible without the dedicated, professional, qualified, and indeed selfless team at the Treasury, working around the clock to ensure that every single item of every single department is included in the estimates. And at this juncture, I would like to commend them for working selflessly and thanklessly indeed behind the scenes to ensure that the budget is delivered to the people of Kenya. These are some of the core responsibilities of the Treasury, of which I am indeed proud to report that with the support of my hard-working team, we have already delivered. In addition, in moving with the spirit of the new constitution, Treasury taking into account and taking advantage also of the huge investment by the government of Kenya in the fiber optic cable spread throughout the country, is undertaking through the IFMIS program the digitization of the process of budget making. Under the current financial year, we intend to roll out a pilot in 10 ministries with a view to roll out the same throughout the national government and eventually extend this to the future county governments. This will ensure that after this transitional stage, the government of Kenya will be in a position to meet not only the constitutionally laid down guidelines, but the transparency required under the yet to be approved Public Financial Management Act. The budget speech, ladies and gentlemen, is nothing more than a culmination of the entire budget making process. But in itself is not the budget. The budget is contained in the estimates which are in front of us today, and the budget speech simply highlights the key areas of focus that we believe would be of interest to the general public. In this respect, and given the need to ensure macroeconomic stability and a smooth transition from the old constitution to the new one, from a purely practical perspective, it was not possible to present these estimates to Parliament 2 months before the end of the financial year.